Good evening, Glue Troopers. Max and Max's Models here. I want to thank our good friend Mike Mashat for hosting us at the live stream held from the Santa Monica Museum of Flying. I want to thank Tommy Anderson for coming out and lending us a hand. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We had a great time doing it. Well, I was working on that A7 Corsair 2 that I had acquired. It's the Monogram kit. And when I was building it, something about it didn't quite feel right. A little hard to put my finger on exactly what it was, but something just didn't feel very monogramish about it. And you know, when you build enough kits from a certain manufacturer, you sort of get a feel for the way they do things. And this did not feel like the Monogram kits I had built in the past, which is pretty much most of their aircraft in 1/48 scale. And then a glue trooper told me that the kit was actually an Aurora kit that Monogram had put back into production, although he told me that the Aurora kit had a retractable gear and Monogram simplified it to a fixed gear. That explained a lot. The model did have more of what I call the Aurora fit, and I don't think I need to elaborate on that. Well, of course, this got me curious, so I started digging, and once you start down the rabbit hole, things get out of hand in a hurry. But I found out that in the late 70s, when Monogram got the Aurora molds, or at least the ones that showed up in Morton Grove, some of them did go walkabout, that the only two jets that they put into production, military jets, were the A7 and the F-111. They deemed those to be both marketable and good enough to put the Monogram name on and go through the trouble of cleaning up the molds, making some changes, and putting them back into production. Ironically, the Aurora A7 was an Air Force version, and Monogram made theirs a Navy version. The ironic part about that is, although externally there's not that much difference, internally there was a great difference. They were very different airplanes, basically built on the same tunnel and the same shell, but that's for another time. Of course, they also made modifications of the F-111 to make it more marketable, but those were the two military aircraft in 1/48 scale they put back into production. They also put 4 airliners into production, but the airliners, when they got them, they were very smooth, they had no detail, and Monogram wanted to add some detail. Unfortunately, given the high-grade beryllium copper that they were made out of instead of the steel that Monogram used, they found they weren't really able to make the changes to them, to cut on them. In fact, they wound up having to do chemical etching. I found out about this in an article that I'll link below that I'll probably use to help source out a better video in the future. But during the first attempt with the DC-9, they wound up ruining the mold. So Monogram never released the DC-9. They actually warped the mold. The others, they decided to use the chemical etching on to add a little detail, but essentially, if you buy the Monogram DC-10 or 727, 737, or 747, you're getting a reworked version of the old Aurora kit. There were other models, such as some World War I aircraft and some 1/48 scale armor, that were repurposed from the old Aurora molds. Of course, they also did some of the figures. Monogram re-released the Godzilla and Superman and some others. Those were pretty much plug and play. They basically just reissued the kit as it had been issued by Aurora. Apparently, there is a book out there about the molds that were reused, but I haven't been able to locate a copy. But it should make an interesting video at some point if I can get the research down. This is by no means a comprehensive look at it. It's just a quick overview of a few of the kits that they put out that I was unaware of. And I thought you guys might find that kind of interesting. Well, that's what I've got for tonight. The models are calling my name, and they're not going to build themselves. I have been getting submissions for Viewers Build 50 and for the Vietnam build, and even some for the movie build. Some excellent work you guys are doing. Take care of yourselves, and as always, model on.